Hello everyone and welcome to my Time Battlemage only run. We are starting a little bit out of ways since the earlier parts of the game were done on a live stream that I'll link down on the description. In this run we will only have access to 1 out of 10 plus possible classes in this game. We will go right in and get rid of the rogue tomato to progress the story. It's the first hunt to introduce you to what is technically hunts or marks in this game. From there on, after you vanquish it, you get this little cutscene where you acquire a Galvania lily, or I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. But after this, the game technically starts. Upon returning to Rabanastre, since we're right next to the guild, or hunt clan, or whatever they want to call it in this game, we go ahead and go right for it, introduce ourselves to the clan leader, Monteblanc, and get a couple of free items off of him. While checking the stores around Rabanastre, I quickly realized that I do not have enough gil to be able to afford anything, nor did I farm enough enemies at the rogue tomato hunt to be able to have a handful of extra items to sell to be able to afford anything. We also don't have access to any crossbow type weapons, so we are stuck with initial equipment for quite some time now. We proceed to talk to Old Dallin. He gives us a quest to go down to the Giza Plains and look for a sunstone. Once at the Giza Plains, there's a village that we gotta check in with. There's a merchant there. Check the inventory. I bought a couple of things here and there, mainly just cure so that Pinello can be able to use it. Once you speak with Mayusa, Pinello will join your party. After this, go ahead, spend her license points, and do everything that you need to do to set her up, and we will continue. We get tasked with finding a kid named Jin by one of the people in the Giza Plains village, by Mayusa. We find them south of the village, and he tells us that his ankle is hurt, or something along those lines. I personally do not believe him. You'll see why later. So Jin informs us that he was tasked out with acquiring our sunstone, which he got a shade stone for, and he has to take to these three multiple dark crystals across the Giza Plains to absorb their sun energy, or whatever the case may be. So we do that pretty quick. Here's one, absorb energy. That one gave me 40. The second one gave me over 40, and then the third one just capped it off. I believe there's over 4 in the original game after you collected 3, and if you didn't collect all 4, one of them will always stay on the map, like bothering you, like, hey, there's something here you need to check. But since this is the remake of the game, it doesn't happen. Now we see the little lying rat take off running, and that's why I said I don't trust him. Nonetheless, we return to Old Dallin's place. It is here that Pinello leaves our party, and we return the Sunstone to Old Dallin. We go ahead and go and buy some leather helm and leather armor, since it's the only available equipment for us, and we unlock the license board for it so that it can be equipped, and we head off to our adventure, essentially. And we're beginning the adventure. From here we get sent to the sewers to sneak into the castle by Old Dallin so we can retrieve an item. After that, we talk to a handful of other merchants to make sure that we have bolts as well for the crossbows, and we set off. Don't mind me hitting the wrong door and showing up in the right spot. After we reach the castle, it is here that our next two party members join, Balthier and Fran. We immediately unlock their classes and make them time battle mages and spend the necessary LP. We also get introduced to this game's most unique mechanic, in my opinion, and it's the gambits. At first, they'll seem complicated, but they're honestly not. It's just you telling the game what you would like for your characters to prioritize during battle. While gambits are on, everything will flow pretty much automatically depending on your priority list. And then if gambits are off, your characters won't do anything unless manually inputted. You guys will see a little bit of that later on when I mess up and I don't activate gambits on a party member after setting them up. We go ahead and we adjust our gambits to make sure that we have somebody actively healing the party as we take damage, which would be Fran since she has Cure enabled. All female characters in this game are able to use Cure, though it is not available for our license boards. Here we get jumped by a bunch of Imperials. Well, we don't get jumped. We run into them jumping this lady that's fighting next to Vaughn. And we help her get rid of them so that we can progress the story. From here on, we push through the sewers in a couple of mini boss fights and boss fights so that we can escape the sewer system under the castle and the surrounding area. So we just set up a handful of gambits. Always make sure that you have Phoenix Down gambits set up so that way whenever your team members go down, you will cancel any action that you are doing, if cancelable, to automatically revive the fallen teammate. Follow that. If somebody in the team has Cure, they'll prioritize curing whoever is the lowest after they're done with whatever action they have queued up. So it would make it so that as soon as somebody's revived, they're getting healed and back into the fray. Amalia joins our party as a guest. Guests are really unique characters. You can't control them. They have a preset actions and they just do whatever they want to do. But yeah, she joins our party as a guest, and we have to fight this group of clans. It's like a mini boss fight to be able to progress through. We make pretty short, quick work of them. Had a gambit set to steal so that I can make, not make, but steal extra items for extra sellables and whatnot. But eventually I get tired of it and I get serious and we just like try to push on with the fight as quick as possible. Once they are destroyed, we are able to find our first crossbow type weapon, the bowgun, but we come across one specific thing. See, to be able to to use equipment in this game, you need to unlock it on your license board. And we're shy on license boards to unlock that license for the bowgun. So we quickly just go around, kill 2 more enemies, and progress through to the next boss, the Firemain. Very sick, wicked looking fire horse dude. Doesn't really stand the chance, has a couple of AoE moves, but it's the beginning of the game. Doesn't really matter what kind of stuff you're rocking and what your strategy is. He's pretty easy. Even as you can see with all my characters not having more than 300 HP, it's light work and it doesn't take that long. After the fight with the fireman, we get arrested because we had snuck into the castle, and the imps that were after Amelia end up finding all of us running around the sewers together. We get stripped of all of our equipment, and it is here that we have to wander around for a bit, not really, just like progress through the map. And not me, Vaughn and Valtier get jumped by a group of Sikhs. They aren't that bad. We make quick work of them, just pummel them, beat them to a pulp. I don't know. It's super quick. It's not even like an eventful fight, but it's supposed to be one of those like mini jump fights. After fighting the Sikhs, we were able to recover all of our equipment that was stashed away by the Imperials after they had arrested us. We cleared through the jail really quickly and then just move on with the story. After leaving the jail, it is here that our next guest joins, Bosch, a disgraced captain who was also under arrest and managed to escape with our help. It is also here that we meet our first conveniently placed merchant who sells bowguns, and we are able to equip our whole party with bowguns. Therefore, our classes are starting to kind of come into fruition, if that's the right word for it. I'm not even sure. But nonetheless, we progress through the mines and get to the next boss fight. Now, this boss fight, the Mimic Queen, is our next main boss fight. Everybody, well, not everybody. You guys may notice that I'm using items called motes. Motes are items that will deal AoE damage to an area around your chosen enemy. So I just quickly use a handful of motes to just get rid of all the smaller enemies around the Mimic Queen so that the whole party is able to focus on the Mimic Queen and we can get it done and over with quickly. Also, during this fight, you'll see a lot of lines going everywhere, and from one character to the other, and from an enemy to a character. Red lines means an enemy is targeting that character. A blue line means that character is targeting an enemy with an action that it's queuing up. But nonetheless, fight goes by really quickly. Use a handful of motes, get rid of the little tiny battery babies, and we kill the Mimic Queen like it's a joke, essentially.
ダルマスカの風がこれほど懐かしいとはな。
ここどこだ？
どうやら東ダルマスカ砂漠だ。
来やがる前にラバナスで戻るぞ。構わんな将軍。
ああ、一刻も早く戻りたい。人々は私を恨んでいるだろうが、果たすべき務めがある。
We come out of prison someplace in the Ester Sand, and we are tasked with returning to Rabanastre. Once returned to Rabanastre, Baltier and Fran leave the party. We go talk with Old Man Dallin, and he gives us this sword. We go present this sword to a handful of NPCs, and then Bosch permanently joins our team as a party member, not a guest. So we go straight to it. We purchase his class by making him a time battle mage, just the same as everybody else, and we'll deal with license point expenditure later. Balthier and Fran rejoin the party after re-encounter them inside the Sandsea bar at Rabanastre. From here on, we get tasked with going to the Lhusu mines in Vucherva, which is where another guest joins our party, Lamont, who his name is not really Lamont, and we'll see that later, but so on. We keep pushing through, and we come across the second bridge in the Lhusu mines. This is an area where I personally like to sit here and farm a bit. Usually I take the whole party out and just leave Lamont and one character in, and every enemy drops like a substantial amount of XP for this like beginning game area. So I stay with the whole team since everybody has a fixed damage due to how crossbows work, and it's not really that fast to take out enemies. We stick with the whole team, do 100+ enemy kills, which comes up to just around about 10,000 or so XP, and we push on with our adventure. Now, the reason why we had to come over to the Lhusu mines is because our friend Panolo was abducted by some people that don't fancy Balthier. So they gave us a ransom note and said, hey, come to the Lhusu mines if you want to rescue your friend, which is how we ended up in this, end of the world, and which is the main reason why we came in this direction to begin with. So we pushed deeper in to find our party member, but end up finding that no party member was there, and it was all just a giant setup for us to get killed by NPCs that outlevel us by about 5 levels and then have higher HP pools by over 2,500. After this, we get sent to scream at people like a madman and telling them that their leader is wrong and that we're some dead dude, but we're not because we're just some like kid. Our antics quickly catch up to us and get the attention of some wanted people, and we get tasked with going to have an audience with the Marquis. but it was all just a giant setup. The Marquis then turns us into the Empire, and Vossler joins our party as a guest. We are now inside the Leviathan, where we are trying to escape, essentially. Vossler is an old friend of Bosch and a friend of Lady Ash of Ravenaster, who happens to be one of the princesses to the kingdom where Bosch used to serve before he was arrested. So innately, this is his duty now, and he has to do this. And so the party joins him. Because of this, we set out to find Lady Ash of Ravenaster, and we have to deal with a handful of Imperials and Imperial judges that come and try and stop us from getting there. On to our second conveniently placed merchant, we get crossbows, which are the next step in our weapon scale, and then we get some iron armor, which is also the next step in our weapon, in our armor scale. Then we find out that our good friend and prior guest to the party, Amalia, was not named Amalia, and was actually Lady Ash of Ravenaster. She then joins our party, and we proceed to push out of the Leviathan. As we progress through the Leviathan, we find two more familiar faces, our old party guest Lamont and Finello. Lamont reveals that his name is not actually Lamont, but Larsa Solodor, the younger brother of this game's main villain, Vane Solodor, who is in charge of the Imperial Army. As Finello joins our party, Vossler leaves, so we no longer have a guest, and our party of 6 is fully completed. We now push to fight Judge Geese and end our first chapter. As soon as we go into the fight with Judge Geese, we notice that there is a handful of extra Imperial enemies to back them up, so we use a moat to get rid of them pretty quickly, and then the fight after that is just quick work. But yeah, this pretty much brings us to the end of the first of what I want to make a 3-parter, but I honestly don't know how long it'll take me, as I thought I was going to be able to do, more of the game encompassed within a 30-minute video, but I guess not. I hope everybody enjoys, everybody has a lovely New Year's, and please share, and subscribe, whatever other YouTuber stuff to say at the end, and that's it. See ya.